working in the spirit of the Golden Empire. This is 17 News at noon.
Good afternoon, I'm Alex Fisher. We begin here at noon with a news conference held outside the Bakersfield Federal Courthouse as a lawsuit is now filed against the city of Bakersfield in connection with the February shooting by 2 police officers. The BPD officers were involved in a shooting that left a man paralyzed due to wounds. The lawsuit was filed Monday against detectives Ryan McWilliams and Isaac Ailman.
There was no lawful basis to use deadly force under the circumstances. It just wasn't. Their lives were not in imminent danger, and no one else's life was in imminent danger. And you cannot create a confrontation and then justify shooting. That is to say, put yourself in danger when you didn't have to, when you were in a position of cover, and then expect the law to protect you.
BPD said the 2 officers were staked out on Kentucky Street near the intersection of Barlow Street on the night of February 11th. They were trying to serve a felony arrest warrant on 23-year-old Anthony Marcus Ramirez, wanted for carjacking and other charges. He was seen with the second suspect, Marina Renee Segura, getting into a gray Mustang, which was confirmed stolen. According to the lawsuit, detectives blocked the car and opened fire without cause or justification, hitting Ramirez in the torso twice. Ramirez is now paralyzed from the armpits down. The lawsuit alleges BPD inadequately trains, supervises, and disciplines its officers and has grossly inadequate procedures for investigating misconduct. The city attorney's office responded this morning saying it had not yet been served with the lawsuit but will defend this case the same way it does every suit filed against the city by vigorously defending the police department and its officers. We'll have more from this morning's news conference tonight on 17 News at 6. Exciting news ahead of the holidays. Marie Callender's is reopening in Bakersfield. The restaurant chain filed for bankruptcy earlier this year. The local eatery on California Avenue closed in August. That will all change tomorrow morning. The new owners say they are excited to bring the restaurant back, and in celebration of the reopening, the bakery will offer a pie sale that lasts through the end of the month. A major remodel of the building is planned for early next year. Now to the growing vaping epidemic. As we've learned, a minor is now hospitalized in Kern County due to vaping-related illnesses. That's according to Kern Public Health. 3 people in Kern County were hospitalized due to the mysterious illness. Health officials say one of them was a minor. This comes as New York health officials confirmed today a 17-year-old died from vaping-related illnesses. Here in California, 104 people are in the hospital because of vaping. 2 have died. The CDC says 18 people have died nationwide. We could be squaring up for yet another round of weed wars in Kern County. That's because today, county supervisors are set to decide whether to place a medical marijuana measure on the 2020 election ballot this March. If approved, the measure would be the second to qualify for the ballot. It would implement a 3.5% tax and would require dispensaries to be at least 1,000 feet from schools, libraries, public parks, and daycares. The measure would also require dispensaries to operate in industrial zones only after the county approves their M1, M2, or M3 manufacturing permits. One dispensary owner says that would all but ensure his shop on Niles could not reopen because it's in a commercial zone, not industrial.
We would be finished. That would be all. This is a commercial zone property. There's a lot of these shops are in commercial properties. It's not good for anybody that was in business prior to this, the shop shutting down.
As for the other measure already qualified for the ballot, it was put on by the group known as Central Valley Cannabis. The group says, unlike the county's proposal, its measure would allow dispensaries to operate in industrial and commercial zones.
We're not trying to be unrealistic and put a dispensary on every corner, but we do want to make sure that every patient has access to it. And if we're out in the industrial areas only and there's only a handful of us, that's going to make it very difficult for the patients.
Some are concerned a second ballot initiative could lead to voter confusion at the polls. A key figure in the Ukraine scandal will not speak to Congress today as planned. The ambassador who flew from Brussels to Washington got word from his bosses this morning, stand down. Tracy Potts has more from Washington.
Gordon Sondland, the U.S. ambassador to the European Union, will not sit for a deposition today as planned. The State Department told him not to early this morning, according to Sondland's attorney. In a statement, the lawyer says the diplomat is profoundly disappointed and stands ready to answer the committee's questions fully and truthfully if the State Department and Congress work this out. Democrats want him to explain text messages offering Ukraine a White House visit in exchange for investigating Joe Biden.
It's a scam by the Democrats to try and win an election.
In those texts, Sondland tried to shut down a diplomat who questioned withholding aid from Ukraine. Lawmakers have now subpoenaed the Secretary of Defense and White House budget director for documents on that.
Let's hear all the facts.
They're still trying to determine if the original whistleblower will testify about President Trump's phone call with Ukraine's leader.
It'd be interesting to know if either one of the whistleblowers were legally allowed to, or did they get illegal dissemination of information?
The Washington Post reports lawmakers are considering extreme measures, including a disguise and meeting at a secret location to protect the whistleblower's identity. As for those other State Department employees who were supposed to give depositions here, that's still up in the air. One was a no-show yesterday. Tracy Potts, NBC News, Washington.
Well, if you see something, say something. That's the message from the Taft City School District to students, parents, and staff. This comes after recent incidents of physical aggression among students in the district, which have prompted concerns in the community. The district sent a letter to parents of students at Lincoln Junior High yesterday, acknowledging the behavior. Court documents revealed back in April a 13-year-old boy threatened to, quote, shoot up the school, but police arrested him. The district says the school has followed up on every report, and law enforcement have also investigated incidents. Staff have also limited student access to the outdoor yard area until threats and acts of aggression are resolved. In the letter to parents, District Superintendent Julie Graves says, quote, the safety and well-being of students and staff is our highest priority in the Taft City School District, and I would like to take this opportunity to remind students of the serious consequences that come with any act of physical aggression, including threats of such behavior. The letter does not go into detail about the reported incidents, though the district says some of them had to do with threats on social media. We reached out to the district for more information and are still waiting to get back. All right, let's take a look at the forecast now with Kevin.
And we're looking at a pretty nice day out there. We've got clear skies, 82 degrees in Bakersfield this time. No winds to talk about. And as we take a look at the graph and the temperatures as we go throughout the day, you can see we're going to be right near 90 once again. In fact, we're putting the lower 90s on the board and then slipping back into the 70s throughout the evening, upper 60s after midnight, 75 degrees into Hatchby right now. You also have a little bit of a breeze out of the northwest at 15. As we take a look at the temperatures, you can see this afternoon mid to upper 70s and slipping back into the lower 50s right around midnight. We're going to talk much more about your weather because winds are on the way, but when? Details in a few minutes. Alex?
All right, thanks so much, Kev. Well, thousands of Kern County residents could lose power due to a power safety shutoff. Southern California Edison says more than 12,000 customers in Tehachapi and in unincorporated areas including Kernville, Wofford Heights, Lake Isabella, Camp Owens, south of Tehachapi, Lebec, Bear Valley Springs, Stallion Springs, Keene, Golden Hills, Sand Canyon, Alpine Forest, and other areas could see their power shut off. This, of course, comes just as PG&E says customers should be prepared to be without electricity for several days. Some of the most destructive wildfires in California in recent years were sparked by PG&E power lines. And, of course, most of the valley floor in the county is served by PG&E. Other areas in the mountains and deserts are served by Southern California Edison. And, of course, if you want more information, just head to our website, kget.com. Today marks 2 years since the start of the deadly wine country wildfires. When the smoke cleared more than a week later, more than a dozen fires had sparked, reducing thousands of homes to smoldering ash, killing 44 people. And forecasters say Southern California will have several days of Santa Ana winds this week, and that could create critical fire weather conditions. The National Weather Service says Santa Ana's will develop early Thursday and continue through Saturday, bringing warm and very dry conditions back to the region. And it's been nearly 2 years since two devastating fires that burned in the Bakersfield area. One fire was in the area of East Pacheco and Cottonwood Roads. The other was in Oildale near Willow Drive. Both started early in the afternoon 2 years ago tomorrow when the winds were howling. Each took between 4 and 5 hours to get under control. 5 county firefighters were injured fighting the cottonwood fire. 3 homes were destroyed and nearly 24 horses were killed. Bakersfield's newest high school was supposed to have a name, but that's not the case because the Kern High School District decided to put off that vote. The board did approve something else, though. 17's Karen Waugh has details.
Prosperity, Victory, Panama, Tacoma, David Nelson, Buck Owens, Thomas Baker, and Mary Kay Shell. These were the 8 names in consideration for the high school opening in Southeast Bakersfield in 2022. Most of these names were submitted by the public, but the trustees decided they would like to replace the 4 proper names with 4 names not of individuals. This is not to offend Nelson, Owens, Baker, or Shell, who arguably are of equal value. The trustees will ask for public submissions again and present a new list of 8 names to be voted on at their December 16th meeting. But what trustees did approve was a new student-led committee to eliminate discrimination in Kern High School.
I've personally witnessed discrimination against students a part of the LGBTQ+ community.
It began with an alleged case of discrimination at Frontier High that sparked viral discussion. The school's Gay Straight Alliance meeting was allegedly met with students holding Make America Great Again flags and straight students holding hands yelling, "This is what's right."
We were really moved by that, so we wanted to create a district-wide committee in order to prevent those types of issues from ever happening again.
This committee led entirely by students.
It really makes my voice feel heard.
Its mission:
this board will be basically an anti-discrimination board that will relay all instances of discrimination that happen in our school district,
offering suggestions to the district on disciplinary action and planning sensitivity workshops.
This just shows that the Kern High School District is really trying to create a more safer environment for its students in order for them to learn.
This is absolutely a step in the right direction in addressing all of these issues of discrimination in our school district.
While details on this committee have yet to be ironed out, there's the possibility that 4 students will be chosen from each high school to be in the group. I'm Karen Waugh, 17 News.
More news coming up after this. All right, welcome back and taking a look at your forecast now with Kev.
And we've got clear skies outside currently, as you can see. A few high clouds around the area, but that is about it. And that's all we're going to be seeing as we go throughout today. In the next 7 days, I see no weather headed our way. And as we take a look at the numbers right now, we've got 82 in Bakersfield, 81 in Delano, 86 out in Taft. And then for the mountains, we've got 70s and 80s, 78 in Fraser Park, 75 in Tehachapi, Lake Isabel at 83, and then 70s and 80s as well out in the desert. Here's a look at Wasco right now. We'll start there. And we've got sunny conditions, beautiful skies, 82. And then Arvin, you've got a few high clouds in the distance, but that's it, 85. And then up in the mountains, a few high clouds and 74 out of Golden Hills. Here's a look at the satellite and radar for the region. We've got clear skies for the most part from the north to the south, some clouds well offshore, but really that's all we're going to be seeing throughout today. Now, right now, temperatures are running into the 70s out of the north, Fresno at 79. San Francisco at 70, and then we've got lower 70s down to the south. Vegas at 82, and right now Phoenix at 89. Here's a look at the daytime highs for us today. Very little change from what we've been seeing. 86 in Sacramento, 91 today in Fresno with 70s and 80s to the south. In LA and San Diego, Vegas will be near 91 with Phoenix at 97. So here's what's to come. High pressure that's been offshore is going to slowly slide to the east for today. We've got a trough approaching out of the north. This is going to help cool us down, and we're also going to be seeing the winds start to pick up tomorrow into Thursday. One reason for this is the trough out of the north and then the ridge to the east. So the Santa Ana winds are going to pick up to the south as well. So if you will have family or friends down in the Southland, it's going to get breezy. It's also going to get windy here in Kern County. And you can see that on our Futurecast map. And then things kind of start to die out, but then Thursday pick back up. We may even see a little bit of a breeze out on the west side of the valley. And with that, we have issued a high wind watch for tomorrow through tomorrow evening. It's due to expire at 11 p.m. So if you're in the Kern County mountain and desert locations, expect strong winds heading into tomorrow. Air quality today going to be unhealthy for sensitive groups, an AQI at 119. And today, we'll see those temperatures near 90 once again. Bakersfield at 90, 89 in McFarland, 88 in Taft, and a light northwest wind 5 to 10 for the mountains and the Kern River Valley. 80 in Fraser Park, upper 70s for Tehachapi. 80s into the Kern River Valley. Do expect a breezy day for you. Winds out of the west 25 to 35, gusting right near 40 miles per hour. And then for the desert, sunny, warm, a west southwest wind 15 to 25. Wind gusts near 40 miles per hour, 91 in Ridgecrest, 88 in Mojave. Your extended forecast, I did put a little breeze on the map for tomorrow. 81 degrees will be the high, so about a 10-degree drop. And then even cooler as we head into Thursday and Friday in the upper 70s. Lower 80s return by the weekend. Into the mountains, we'll keep the winds around through Thursday. Cooler weather on the way Thursday, Friday, and Saturday with those 60s. Lower 70s return Sunday and Monday. And then for the Kern River Valley, you're also going to be seeing a cool down. A little bit of a wind sticking around through tomorrow. And then as we head into the weekend, very nice weather with those upper 70s. So again, tomorrow into Thursday, best time frame for seeing any of those strong winds around the Kern County area.
Yeah, unfortunately, we think of, as we get closer to winter, we see the cooler temperatures, but we also see the winds pick up, and we all know these fires can really do some damage, especially during this time of year.
Yeah, we haven't had any rain yet, so even though we're in fall, heading into winter, it's still very dry out there.
Yeah, good reminder there. All right, thanks, Kev. All right, well, it sounds like a big project, but it can pay off. How to effectively flip a house and how to make the most of it. It's coming up next.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
Welcome back. It's getting tougher to make money flipping homes as competition increases right along with the prices. And that's why more investors are taking a less conventional route to finance their flips. CNBC's Diana Olick explains how.
Vipin Motwami expects to flip about 15 homes this year, like this one in a pricey Bethesda, Maryland neighborhood.
So we'll be rehabbing the kitchen down here through the hallway.
There are very few foreclosures or distressed properties nationwide to rehab and resell, so flippers like Motwami are investing in older, pricier properties and using more financing, either mortgages or private lending.
It's always smarter to use a mortgage because you get leverage. You can do many more deals, right, if you're borrowing money.
About 40% of flipped properties in the second quarter of this year were bought using mortgages or private lending. That's substantially lower than the 68% share during the height of the housing boom in 2005. But the dollar volume of today's purchases is up 30% annually to nearly $8.5 billion, according to Atom Data Solutions. That's the highest level since the end of 2006. Banks will lend to flippers, and Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and the FHA all back a limited number of investor loans. But Motwani says big banks are tough.
They're looking for like the W-2 wage earner or somebody who's had consistent income from an easily sourced job, for example. They can verify your income. They know you're good for the loan.
So he goes to community banks, which can interview him personally and better understand his business. The underwriting on investor loans in general is much stricter now than it was during the last housing boom. There's no such thing as a no doc, no down payment loan. Banks have already been burned.
I think the lenders are clearly aware they want to get return on their mortgage lending as well. So given the price increases, with less chance of price decline given the housing shortage, I think it's a little safer environment, but it's for the market to decide, and both lenders and flippers apparently are working it out.
The housing market is stronger today with low mortgage rates and rising home prices, but it is not without risk. If the economy turns weaker and rates rise, funding flippers may no longer be a safe bet. Diana Olick, CNBC, Bethesda, Maryland.
Well, still ahead here at noon, she's the judge in a controversial case. But there's one thing she did after the sentencing of Amber Guyger that's getting a lot of attention. Why this judge is defending her actions. That story coming up next. Welcome back. The judge in Amber Guyger's trial is speaking out for the first time after being criticized for hugging the former Dallas police officer and giving her a Bible. And this all happened right after Guyger's murder conviction. Meanwhile, the Dallas Police Department is investigating a murder of a key witness in that case. Morgan Chesky has all the details.
I'm trying to look at the person beyond the act.
This morning, District Judge Tammy Kemp speaking publicly for the first time, sharing how the Amber Geiger murder trial changed her and her courtroom forever.
Can I give her a hug, please?
Yes.
Moments like when Brant John asked the judge if he could hug the woman who killed his brother. That surprising and emotional hug leading to another from the judge herself.
I just said to her, Miss Geiger, Mr. John has forgiven you. Please forgive yourself so that you can live a purposeful life. And she said, do you think my life can still have purpose? And I said, I know it can. We, the jury...
After a jury convicted Geiger of murder and sentenced her to 10 years, Kemp stepped away and returned with a Bible, handing it to Geiger, who asked for a hug before going to prison.
Your job is to do justice, to love mercy, and walk humbly. So how can you not hug this lady? So we hugged.
What'd you feel then?
I felt somebody who was incredibly fragile.
Another powerful moment during the trial coming when Joshua Brown took the stand. Brown, who broke down when he testified about the night his neighbor Botham John was shot, was himself gunned down over the weekend. Police say they have no suspects. His untimely death now depriving John's family of a key witness in their civil lawsuit against Geiger and the city of Dallas.
How pivotal a role would Josh have played in that suit?
Joshua would have been one of the first witnesses we called.
The judge now hoping those two families find peace and Botham John's killer can find purpose.
I think if we meet her with love and compassion, we might help her find that. And then Botham John's death would not have been in vain.
Morgan Chesky, NBC News.
When we come back here on the news at noon, feeling hungry? Details on tomorrow's barbecue that's coming up.
Welcome back. For just $5, you're going to get a burger, chips, drink, and a cookie, and you get to support the homeless center tomorrow. So if you're looking for a juicy burger and folks who know how to grill right, tomorrow is the day. Weather will be beautiful, and you can also enter yourself into a raffle for a nice television.
Yeah, again, this is all benefiting the Alliance Against Family Violence and Sexual Assault. So, again, come on out tomorrow right here outside our studios. You know, it's going to be a great time. You said the forecast is going to be wonderful.
Yeah, forecast is going to be perfect. You can have lunch with us right here on our premise, so come on out.
All right, well, thanks so much for joining us for 17 News at noon. We'll see you back here for 17 News at 5.
17 News, your local news leader, continues 24 hours a day on KGET.com and our 17 News app in the spirit of the Golden Empire. 17 News.